Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right, Cancerians, I want to take a look at whatever the kind of like hidden message is from the cosmos, the thing that might be swirling around in the ether, but maybe Cancerian hasn't even heard the message yet or hasn't, like identified it because sometimes, the universe talks softly, sweetly. We have a nine of sacred circles. That nine of sacred circles is nine of pentacles, right? So we have a character who is like energetically just like really being encouraged to notice that they are living like their truest path. This actually says that our character could come from like an ancestral lineage as well, where they have a really powerful, like shamanistic uh, parentage, maybe in their maternal lineage side. Hi, guys. Nice to see everyone. But we have somebody who's got that star on their necklace. They have the star on the rattle, and then they have the star outside of them. I feel like this is a character who's extremely like blessed, and they have a very big life purpose. If they did not like necessarily understand that, I think this is that message from the universe. It's like, you do know you come from a long line of people that carry on the same, like, let's say it's a talent, let's say it's a family lineage of being like a shaman or being a healer, and it's like, oh, my grandmother and their great great grandmother, the whole family has inherited the same gift or talent. And maybe this hasn't been spoken about, even though with the guide there, I feel like our character has a very strong like guide around them. It could be some kind of blue bird. I don't know if it's a blue jay per se, but like a bird with blue wings. That could be something that tends to show up. I feel like our character might need to know something about bird songs to know which one to listen for. And just so that they know when one of their guides is around. I mean, we all know what crows sound like, right? And like doves. And no, I'm not going to try to make the dove and crow sounds. I can do a chicken really good, though. Chicken laying an egg specifically. And I'm also not going to do that on camera right now. But trust me, I'm perfect. It's my only talent on a resume. Can make it sound like a chicken laying an egg to perfection. Can't tell the difference if it's a real chicken or if it's cake. um, this feels like with the Princess of Wands to have this energy of like deep loyalty as well. I feel like there is some kind of like loyal energy within Cancerian, but they also have like very loyal people around them. There's somebody who loves Cancerian like beyond measure, and Cancerian might think of them as a dear friend, but I don't know that it's registered for Cancerian that somebody feels the exact same way about Cancer. This could be somebody that Cancer shares like a spark of intuition or creative energy with. This could be somebody who Cancer's just like, oh, they're a really nice person. Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the world of them. If they called me right now, I'd go over to their house if they needed me. But what I don't know that Cancerian knows is that they are like incredibly bonded and loyal to Cancer. And I just say that because the dog is here. Now, maybe Cancer does have like, a guardian or something that is a dog, but it's more than just a dog if that's the case. If we're not talking about a person, but I still feel like the dog is a person, unless it's like the spirit of somebody in a dog. If Cancerian has some kind of a dog, even if the dog is passed on, it's still somebody that watches over Cancer, but I don't ever think it was ever a dog. Sorry, I know this is a mystical storyline. Sometimes we get those. Those are actually my favorite ones. But that's only if it's not a real person. If it is a person, I feel like there's somebody who has, I don't take this the wrong way, but dog like qualities where, you know, how dogs can like lay down and rest at your side for so long. You know, they say dogs, can sleep like 20 hours a day, but they sleep in lightly. So they're always kind of like still up and ready to rock and roll. Although Aries, man, when he's tired, he snores like a little chainsaw. Um, but I just feel like there's this protective nature that somebody has over Cancer, but it's somebody that they share interests with. But I don't think Cancer has any idea of the depth of emotion that's actually here. That this is the person who would be their ride or die. And I'm not talking about love. I'm talking about maybe just a friendship or a work colleague or somebody, but that hasn't been like tested. And I say that because we've got the pyramids back there. So somebody out there is like a really wonderful They have Cancer's back to a level Cancer wouldn't expect. Okay, now the next message is with the Seven of Wands. There is a strong encouragement from the universe for Cancer to like really look into their heart. They have something that is like kind of like trying to bust out here. There is some kind of inner light or inner gift or talent or something that Cancer has been either suppressing, and it's struggling to break on out. And it just feels like going into that inner temple with that Seven of Wands. This is how we overcome a struggle. I almost feel like there's a huge well of inner healing that Cancer could use to heal, you know, anything within themselves. Like maybe this is Cancer could heal their worried mind, you know, when they get stressed out or something by tapping into this deep inner source. And I want to say that that source is like their direct conduit to the cosmos or something. This could be a real gift. I keep thinking, just because that first card, that Cancer has a real like lineage of a healer's gift. They have like a pretty important life purpose, and it is a talent that they've inherited. But then this is like something within Cancer that has not yet been brought fully into the light, and it's like it's their own light. I kind of think that because of that light emanating, I almost think Cancer could really help a lot of let their total brightness show if they just, you know, kind of like allowed. And I mean, this maybe it's as simple as Cancer, you know, making more eye contact and giving a big old smile and lifting people's hearts. But I think it's more than that. I think Cancer has something that if they really let their inner light show, if they really put themselves on the front and center stage, they could do a lot more good for other people in this world that maybe need Cancer's light right now. It's a very healing, you know, strobe light or something. We have the Chariot. There's our Cancer. The other message from the universe is Cancer has a divine counterpart, right? We got these two powerful alphas riding side by side. And I kind of think that if Cancer hasn't felt like they met the partner of a lifetime yet, the universe is like, y'all are riding parallel right now. You two, maybe you don't see each other the same way if two cars are traveling completely side by side and they're both almost like in each other's blind spot, or they're just both looking straight ahead. They haven't realized that they're neck and neck with each other. I feel like Cancer has a divine counterpart very similar to themselves. It could be a different zodiac or something, certainly, but it's somebody that is shoulder to shoulder, but like exactly moving in the same, like right now, even in this timeline, there's somebody that is so right for Cancer, that is like if Cancer went one street over, or if they turned and looked at just the right moment, they would spot this person. Like they've had so many opportunities to meet this person, but Cancer and this person both just keep like looking straight ahead. I get this feeling that like maybe they live across the street from each other. Maybe they're in apartments that are right across the way from each other. Maybe it's, you know, and how if we live in apartments, you know, it's standard that you just politely like don't look into people's apartments, right? Or you do, depending on how your mama raised you. But usually it's like, you know, we close our blinds, and if somebody else has their blinds open, you know, we don't sit there and stare into their houses, right? It's just a kind of like an unspoken like politeness. But I'm picturing like in this story, or maybe it's like people who, you know, they live apart from each other, but they have balconies. And it's like, it could be so simple that if Cancerian's sitting on their balcony, the other person is sitting on their balcony, instead of, you know, both ignoring each other, looking into each other's phones, you know, making sure that you don't make eye contact because that would be rude. Maybe this is that moment where these two will have eyes meet, and it's like, who would have guessed that my person has been, you know, 6.5 feet away from me, sitting on their balcony at night, the same time that I'm sitting on mine. It's an interesting thing to say that it's either that Cancer like could be in same geographical proximity like that, or maybe they work in like a similar industry. Maybe they work for the same company, but they're never on the same shift as Cancer, or they work same shift but different departments, so they just haven't crossed paths yet. Or like two cars that, you know, when I'm leaving, they're coming in. I know their name, but I've never seen them face to face, and we've worked at the same place for, you know, 3 years, but I have no idea who they are. You know, I see their name, you know, signed out on the board or something, but I had no idea that that is somebody that I would really match beautifully with. It's interesting to see there's someone so perfectly matched to Cancer. And Cancer just hasn't noticed that they're there yet. That's actually really exciting. Universe, is Cancer gonna get a chance to see this person, or is there an encouragement to this to like pay attention to people who are, on our left or on our right? Eight of Wands upright. It kind of says that life changes all the time. This is like a big old kerfuffle in the trees, right? These birds have been suddenly disrupted. Kind of says that it's inevitable that Cancerian will encounter this person or will be able to turn their head and notice that the person is there. But it'll be because of some outside influence. It's not that they're going to go seek each other out to go chit chat. It's not a secret admirer situation. It's more like there will be some kind of upheaval. Like, okay, let's go back to the scenario where maybe two people, sit out on their patios, but they have avoided making eye contact, even though they're next door neighbors. And then if everybody knows if there's like a noise down below, this happened to me one day. I had a neighbor in the same region that I lived in, and they were in real breathing distress, an elderly neighbor. And, I heard it. Well, Aries heard it first and alerted me. And then I ran over and, was listening and, could hear, okay, somebody's in trouble. And, like three of us all ran out of our houses at the same time. And, you start meeting your neighbors that you didn't even know were there because you never see each other. But anybody who hears distress, you all come running. And I feel like sometimes those are the moments where we just meet other people distressing like that. But it could be, something that goes on that brings Cancerian into this person's world. Whether it's something positive or whether it's, just a noise or, something like that. But it could be some kind of disruption that actually, look, Cancer is looking straight ahead and so are they. So we know that we got to catch their attention and get them in the same environment so they notice each other. So yes, a disruption brings conversation to these two. I think that's exciting. I think that this is all really super positive. Are there any blockages or anything hidden from Cancer right now? We have the World. The universe is like, you humans, you make tons of blockages. That's what humans do. The World has blockages. But you know what? You can always change things. Everything's a cycle. When there's blockages, which there inevitably will be, guess what? Nothing stays the same. Not the good stuff and also not the bad. So there's this assurance and even like, hey, lighten up a little bit because the world's still a beautiful place. Despite, of course, there will be blockages. There will always be blockages because everything is a cycle. Times of stagnancy, times of great growth. Think of the 4 seasons that our planet has, right? There's times where there's nothing going on because it's winter and everything's in hibernation. There's times where everything is exploding, and new life is growing with spring. Then you've got those hot summers where it's like you're harvesting a lot, but then there's also like, oh man, I'm getting exhausted. This heat's tearing me down. And then you get into that fall, and that can also be a harvest time, but like a shifting of gears. So it just is the reassurance that sure, there's blockages, but as long as Cancerian knows this too shall pass, a time of stagnation will pass, a time of great abundance will come back, and then that abundance will leave, and I'll possibly go through another time that feels frozen or stagnant, and then guess what? Things will rebirth again. All of that is just so reassuring. It reminds Cancerian that there's not anything to fear about the cyclical nature of life. And even times where there are blockages, all of this is about, like, the whole life for Cancer is so very positive. Like, they have more people on their side than they think. They have more of a gift to bring to this world than what they previously already have. So there's just sharing their own like natural essence with the world a little bit more might be super helpful. And they do have a higher purpose. But then we also have a pretty amazing partnership out there for Cancer. It's just somebody that they haven't noticed is so much like themselves, probably doing the same things Cancer is doing. And that's probably why they haven't met yet, even though they should have by now. And just that nice reassurance. It's even with stagnation, that doesn't last. Final message. Anything else that Cancer doesn't see? We have Prince of Swords. Things change fast, Cancer. Keep some snacks, keep some protein bars, in your merce or your purse. Keep a bottle of water in your car. You never know when all of a sudden it's going to be time to go keep a change of clothes in a bag, in your trunk. Make sure that if somebody suddenly offers you the chance to go do something fun, if a great opportunity comes in, don't say, no, I don't have a change of clothes. I'd have to go in my work clothes. I can't go to that awesome fancy dinner that you have an extra ticket for. Yes, say yes. I happen to have some spare clothes in my car. I can change here at work. I can join you. It just says things happen fast. And knowing that life can change on a dime, it serves us well to be a little bit more on our toes, be a little bit prepared. If we're going to suddenly get a chance to take a road trip, that's why it's like, make sure that the car is gassed up. Don't let your car get down to empty. Make sure that the car always has at least a half a tank of gas in it so you can pretty much get anywhere in a pinch. Make sure you got some snackies. Those kinds of simple things make you more able to, spontaneously say yes to great opportunities, maybe. So kind of nice. You guys, thank you so much. Really good to see everyone. Sweet, you're always dropping the wisdom. I love that. Thank you guys so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. I so appreciate you guys being here. Sweet, you're amazing. I love that. Nick, hi, honey. We won't get to Virgo until tomorrow, babe. I did re-release one of the Virgo videos that never processed last week, but today I had to get caught up on all the other zodiacs, and I promised to do a Capricorn bonus for tonight. And I have a feeling that by the time I'm done with Capricorn and our today's topic, I might have to go night-night because it's going to be after midnight by then for me, and I want to get an early start tomorrow. So I might have to wait, but Virgo will be our first for tomorrow, I promise, Nick. I'm so glad you want Virgo. Thank you for letting me know. That's so nice. Travis Rose. Hi, hun. Thank you so much. I'll tell Aries you said hello. He's actually snoring behind me. A little softer snores tonight. 11:08. I like you guys too much to cluck like a chicken. I don't want to make everybody jealous by my awesome chicken sounds. I wouldn't want anyone to feel insecure about their chicken sounds. In case they're not as good at chicken sounds. Pauline Bennett, so good to see you. Thank you for being here, babe. Shout out to you in the UK. Catherine, how are you, honey? Thanks for hanging with me. Megan Kreitz, hi. And Nikki, oh, you were first in the house. Hey, Brian. Thank you for being here, love. Violet, awesome to see you. Lena Bora, hi, honey. All right, you guys, we're going to bounce on over to the other channels. If you feel like hanging out late tonight, I will see you on the other side. And we will probably do a today's topic immediately, and then I'll do that Capricorn bonus. So I'll see you guys over on Case Regretless Life. Nikki, thank you, babe. So great to see you. Nick, thank you, hon. Bye for now.